Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're unlocking the secrets of a sector that truly is the silent, meticulous guardian of global commerce. We're talking about the global hazardous goods logistics market.
Hmm.
And look, we're not just talking about moving things from A to B here. This is about the highly specialized, incredibly regulated process of safely transporting, well, high risk substances.
Exactly. Things like essential industrial chemicals, flammable materials.
Right. Vital medical waste, even radioactive goods, I saw.
That's right. All moving across borders, within countries. It's complex stuff.
So our mission today is really to pull back the curtain on the significant numbers and trends shaping this absolutely vital but often overlooked industry. We're drawing our insights directly from a pretty comprehensive market outlook.
Yeah, because a great data-driven picture.
It really does. It's like a data mosaic telling this compelling story about a critical global backbone.
And what's truly fascinating here, beyond just the sheer economic scale, is how foundational this market actually is. Foundational to global safety, security, and the uninterrupted flow of critical goods.
Yeah.
When we talk about hazardous goods logistics, we're really talking about sticking to this intricate web of international and national regulations. You need highly specialized equipment, rigorously trained people.
Right.
These aren't just like nice-to-haves, they're the non-negotiables.
Absolutely. Makes the sector indispensable despite the complexity and challenges, right?
Precisely.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The scale we mentioned,
Yeah.
it's genuinely eye-opening. Globally, this sector generated a staggering, what was it, $187.364 billion in revenue back in 2021.
A huge number already.
But it's not standing still, is it? It's more like a rapidly flowing river. It's projected to swell to $231.9 billion by 2025,
Mhm.
and then surge even further to an estimated $355.247 billion by 2033.
Wow.
That reflects a robust compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of nearly 5.5%. So what's driving such consistent, powerful expansion?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, these aren't just arbitrary numbers. This impressive growth is fundamentally linked to, I'd say, a trio of powerful global forces.
Okay.
First, there's rising industrialization worldwide, especially in developing economies. As new factories come online, manufacturing expands, so does the need to transport their materials and products, many of which are hazardous.
Makes sense. What's number two?
Second, we're seeing an ever-expanding demand for chemical production. This serves everything from pharma to advanced materials.
Right.
And third, and this is critical, there's a global push towards stricter compliance requirements. Increasingly strict.
Ah, the regulations.
Exactly. And this isn't just more paperwork. It's a global drive towards sort of cradle-to-grave responsibility for chemicals. Think about initiatives like Europe's REACH or the globally harmonized system.
GHS, yeah. For classification and labeling.
Precisely. This directly mandates specialized compliant logistics at every single step. And that pushes investment and revenue straight into this sector. It really highlights how these foundational elements underpin modern economies.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think, as we transition into the regional breakdowns. Because the global growth we just discussed, well, isn't evenly spread out, is it?
Not at all.
It's a diverse landscape, some surprising hotbeds of activity. As we dissect these regions, let's look for the surprises. Where is the growth truly explosive? What does that tell us about shifting global industry centers?
Absolutely. And when we look at those regional dynamics, Asia-Pacific immediately jumps out. It's the fastest growing engine.
Right.
This region is projected to almost double its market size, soaring from about $67 billion in 2021 to a robust $136.77 billion by 2033.
Doubling. Wow.
And that's a standout CAGR of over 6.1%.
And when you loom in, like you said, on specific countries within Asia Pacific, the story gets even clearer. China holds the largest established market, growing steadily. But what's truly remarkable is India.
Yes, India's performance is striking.
Its market is set to more than double, from roughly $10.5 billion in 2021 to over $23 billion by 2033. That's an explosive 6.893% CAGR. What specific factors are fueling India's incredible pace? It's even outpacing China's growth rate.
That's a fantastic point. Well, India's burgeoning pharmaceutical sector is one massive driver,
Yeah.
and also its rapid expansion into specialty chemical manufacturing.
Okay.
Plus, you've got new domestic environmental regulations. These are pushing companies to outsource their hazardous waste management to specialized compliant logistics providers. That creates significant new demand, really from the ground up.
Interesting. So internal regulation is actually boosting this specific market.
Definitely. And what's also fascinating is that even, smaller economies in the region are making significant contributions. Take Singapore. It shows an impressive 6.442% at CAGR.
Still very high.
And the broader Southeast Asia region isn't far behind, clocking in at 6.703 Pacific CGR, both contributing substantially to that overall Asia-Pacific boom.
And Japan and South Korea.
They also maintain steady growth, solidifying the region's overall dominance, really. Japan heading towards $18.5 billion, South Korea over $10 billion by 2033.
Okay, so from that really dynamic picture in Asia Pacific, let's pivot. North America. This feels like a more established player, right? Reflecting a mature but still expanding industrial landscape.
That's a good way to put it. Mature but expanding.
It's a major contributor. $54.1 billion back in 2021, projected to hit over $95.9 billion by 2033. Still solid growth, a 4.881% CAGR.
And the U.S., as you'd expect, leads the way here, climbing towards $78.3 billion by 2033.
But I noticed something interesting in the numbers.
That's it.
Canada's growth rate is actually higher than the U.S., right? 5.63% CAGR.
Yes, exactly. It's outpacing the U.S. growth rate.
Okay.
This could perhaps indicate specific resource sectors driving demand there, or maybe the increasing complexity of cross-border trade dynamics between the two economies. They're highly integrated.
That makes sense. And Mexico.
Mexico also demonstrates consistent advancement, growing steadily around a 5% CAGR. It really cements North America's role as this bedrock market that continues to evolve.
So if North America is mature but steady, what about Europe? It also plays a stable and significant role. Over $40 billion in 2021, expected to reach more than $72 billion by 2033. The CAGR is around 5.03%. What does Europe's market tell us about its industrial landscape?
Well, Europe's market reflects a region with, deeply entrenched industrial bases, and crucially, some of the world's most stringent environmental and safety regulations. That's key.
Regulations again?
Absolutely. Germany's performance is particularly solid, for instance, over 5.7% CAGR projected. This robust growth often comes from a constant drive for innovation, safer handling, new transport methods, all to meet those evolving regulatory standards.
So regulation drives innovation here too.
In many ways, yes. The UK also shows strong growth, over 5.3% CAGR, and other major economies like France, Italy, Spain, they're all significant contributors.
Growing towards roughly $9 billion, $5.7 billion, and almost $6 billion, respectively.
That's right, all operating within this highly regulated, mature industrial ecosystem that just demands specialized, compliant logistics.
Okay, moving on. South America. Here we see a different kind of trajectory, again, surging potential.
Yes, definitely a strong upward curve.
The market's set to almost double, from about $11.2 billion in 2021 to over $22 billion by 2033. A robust 5.781% CAGR overall. What's driving that leap?
Well, Brazil accounts for the largest share, as you expect. It's the region's biggest economy, heading towards $8.5 billion. Look at Argentina, a particularly notable CAGR there, over 6.2%.
Higher than the regional average.
Exactly, which suggests perhaps a rapid expansion of its industrial base, maybe in agriculture, mining, or chemical production. Something's driving that specifically.
True.
And countries like Colombia, Peru, Chile also show strong growth, ranging from just over 5% up to 6%. It indicates a pretty broad-based industrial awakening across the continent, which naturally fuels demand for hazardous goods logistics.
Now, the Middle East region, also showing a strong upward trajectory, growing from about $8.4 billion in 2021 to $16.4 billion by 2033. That's a 5.683% CAGR. What are the key dynamics there?
The Middle East growth is often tied to its burgeoning petrochemical industries and lots of infrastructure development.
Right.
Saudi Arabia is a key driver, naturally, aiming for over $4.2 billion. Alongside the UAE, which shows a very strong 6.24% CAGR, hitting almost $3.4 billion.
And Turkey.
Turkey's making significant contributions too, a 6.1% CAGR, reaching $2.5 billion. This likely reflects diversified economic growth, maybe beyond traditional oil and gas, into manufacturing and construction, all requiring specialized transport.
And Qatar and Egypt are contributing significantly as well.
Yes, heading towards $1.7 billion and $2.5 billion respectively, quite broad growth.
And finally, Africa. We see consistent emergence and expansion here, growing from roughly $6.2 billion in 2021 to nearly $12 billion by 2033. That's a 5.0377% CAGR.
And South Africa remains the dominant player, doesn't it?
It does, accounting for nearly half the continent's market share, rising towards almost $4.9 billion.
But Nigeria and the broader rest of Africa are also contributing substantially, heading towards $1.8 billion and $5.2 billion.
With growth rates over 4.4%?
That's right. This growth, I think, reflects the early stages of industrialization and infrastructure development across many parts of the continent, which brings with it increasing demand for compliant logistics solutions for everything from fuels to raw materials for new industries.
Okay. So let's zoom out. What does this all mean? This deep dive into the global hazardous goods logistics market shows us a sector experiencing, well, rapid, robust advancement.
Clearly.
The source makes it clear this isn't just organic growth. It's propelled by powerful interconnected forces.
Mm.
We've got continued globalization, ever-increasing industrial chemical demand.
The critical importance of regulatory safety protocols.
Right, and just a general increase in cross-border trade. Regions like Asia-Pacific and South America are experiencing truly explosive growth, suggesting fundamental shifts in global manufacturing, maybe.
It certainly points that way.
While established economies in North America and Europe remain strong, significant, driving innovation in safety and compliance.
So this raises an important question, doesn't it? How does this affect you, the listener?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, while these are massive numbers, complex regulations, this market's growth and its stringent rules directly impact the availability of countless products you use every single day.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, think about the medication in your cabinet, the microchips in your phone, the paint on your walls, even the purity of your water treatment chemicals.
Right. Things we take for granted.
Exactly. This sector ensures industrial safety across the globe. It contributes directly to environmental protection. So, every time you encounter a product, maybe consider the hidden, highly regulated infrastructure that meticulously and safely transported its components.
Makes those abstract billions feel very tangible, how they support our modern lives.
Precisely.
And there you have it. This deep dive reveals it's far more than just moving goods. It's the complex, highly regulated backbone of global industry that impacts every one of us, and it's growing at a surprising, significant pace.
It really is a testament to the unseen forces shaping our world.
So maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over.
Yeah, something to think about. Consider how the continuous growth of this market, especially in those rapidly industrializing regions like Asia Pacific and South America, how will that shape not just global supply chains, but also international safety and environmental standards in the coming decade? What will this increasingly vital hidden infrastructure look like? And what new innovations will it demand as the world continues to industrialize?
A truly fascinating thought to end on. That's all for this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and we'll see you next time. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on hazardous goods logistics. It's an industry that, well, it literally underpins our modern world, moving everything from life-saving medicines to the fuel that powers our lives. But it operates on a real razor's edge, doesn't it? High-stakes kind of ballet where safety is absolutely paramount. Our mission today is to really unpack the unseen forces, the things propelling and challenging this critical sector, and how it's being fundamentally reshaped by global events. Get ready to understand why the unseen journey of these materials is maybe one of the most vital stories in logistics today. So, when you look at what's truly fueling growth in this high-stakes sector, what's maybe a surprising factor, something perhaps overlooked, even by folks who follow logistics closely? For me, the increasing adoption of digitalization, it really stands out. It feels like it's revolutionizing how all that sensitive information is handled. We're not talking minor tweaks here. This feels like a complete overhaul. Yeah, imagine sensitive data about hazardous goods, things like acceptance reports, safety docs, critical handling protocols now being shared in, mere seconds. This rapid data exchange isn't just faster, it feels like a game changer for everyone involved. Airlines, pilots, ground staff, shippers, safety officers, all of them. It seems to dramatically cut down errors, slash delays, ensures that really ironclad regulatory compliance, and boosts operational productivity too. This shift from, outdated paper systems to integrated digital platforms, it's fundamentally enhancing safety, right?
Absolutely. And what's truly revolutionary here isn't just the speed, though that's important. It's that digitalization has allowed us to move from, reactive crisis management to truly predictive safety.
Predictive, huh?
Yeah, we're not just reducing errors, we're actually using data to anticipate potential failures before they even happen, which is just a massive paradigm shift in an industry where you basically have zero tolerance for error.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this technological leap It's precisely what's expected to keep driving global market expansion
Huh.
because it makes these complex, high-risk operations much more manageable, more transparent.
Right.
It's like moving from navigating with a paper map in the dark to having real-time GPS and weather radar. It ensures every single stakeholder, from the pilot down to the ground crew, has the exact same critical safety data instantly.
That really clarifies how it acts as a kind of backbone for the whole operation. But what's maybe the biggest resistance you see to this digital transformation in some parts of the industry, and how are they getting past it? And then thinking beyond digitalization, another really significant driver seems to be the growing complexity and just the sheer volume of biomedical waste. And we're not just talking about simple medical refuse here, are we? It's these highly regulated, specialized waste streams
Mm.
from labs, hospitals, pharma research, stuff that needs extremely precise and compliant logistical solutions.
Well, the resistance often boils down to legacy systems, old ways of doing things, and the initial investment, of course.
Sure, cost is always a factor.
But the overwhelming benefits, particularly in safety and efficiency, they're essentially forcing the change. People
Yes.
see it working. And as for biomedical waste, you're right. It truly is a massive and often unseen component of this whole picture. Healthcare services, I mean, they're indispensable, but they generate just an immense amount of hazardous waste every single day. We're talking everything from used syringes, contaminated bandages, pathological waste, chemical waste, you name it. And this kind of waste, if it's not managed correctly, it poses severe, really immediate risks to both human health and the environment.
Right.
So the question becomes, how do you manage that safely on a global scale, especially with healthcare demands constantly rising?
That really does raise a critical point. So, how are hospitals and healthcare providers handling this really complex challenge? Are they trying to do it all in-house, or is there a more specialized solution emerging?
Increasingly, they're outsourcing it
Yeah.
to specialized hazardous goods logistics providers.
Okay.
These experts, they step in to ensure not just safe transportation, but also compliant disposal,
Mm-hmm.
all while adhering to this labyrinth of environmental and public health regulations.
So it's not just moving the waste from A to B.
Oh, definitely not. It's about mitigating a huge public health risk. It's managing highly specific storage needs, navigating really complex disposal chains, and as global healthcare demand surges, especially you see this in developing economies, so too does the absolute requirement for professional biomedical waste management,
Right.
which, gives a significant sustained boost to this specific segment of the hazardous goods logistics market.
Okay, so it's clear there's a lot propelling this market forward. You've got cutting edge tech, critical public health needs. But, every industry has its bottlenecks, its challenges. Let's shift gears a bit now. Talk about the significant challenges, the inherent risks associated with just storing and transporting these hazardous goods. I mean, we're talking about frequently transported, highly volatile materials, things like gasoline, LPG, kerosene, naphtha,
Hmm.
which is what, a highly flammable liquid hydrocarbon mixture used in plastics, fuel production, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Highly flammable.
And these things move across vast distances, right? By road, rail, sea. And the danger is just inherent in their very nature.
It really does paint a picture of an industry that's constantly on high alert. You have to be. The potential for catastrophic outcomes if an accident occurs during transit.
Yeah.
It's immense. We're not just talking minor spills here.
No.
We're talking environmental pollution on a massive scale, extensive property damage, devastating explosions, and, tragically, potential loss of life.
Yeah.
You mentioned sea transport. Consider maritime logistics, for instance. It faces these unique environmental threats. Things like outgassing.
They're gassing. So that's when a chemical releases gas, maybe due to temperature or pressure changes.
Precisely. And it can create explosive atmospheres even without an obvious leak.
Wow.
Yeah, alongside things like waste discharge, leakage. Each of these has the potential to cause significant, really long-lasting harm to delicate marine ecosystems and also to the coastal populations that depend on them.
And the financial burden of cleaning up incidents like that must be just staggering, right? It must demand substantial investment. New technology, upgraded infrastructure, huge ecological rehabilitation efforts.
Oh, monumental costs.
These aren't just line items. They're often unforeseen, massive drains on resources.
Precisely. These high-risk factors and their associated expenses, everything from the immediate emergency response to the long-term environmental remediation, they act as a significant bottleneck for the industry's growth. It's a constant, incredibly expensive balancing act. Between meeting demand and ensuring absolute total safety, it's like threading a needle with a very, very explosive piece of string that's thousands of miles long.
Wow, that's a vivid image. Now, let's talk about an event that truly tested the resilience of, well, pretty much every industry, but certainly this one, the COVID-19 pandemic. For hazardous goods logistics, it seems like it created this unique paradox. It was both a brutal disruptor and an unexpected catalyst. In those early stages, it definitely brought things grinding to a halt, didn't it? Lockdowns, travel bans, they just paralyzed global supply chains, led to widespread shipment delays, significant cost escalations. It was just a chaotic, unpredictable time across all of logistics.
It truly was chaos initially, no doubt about it. But then the striking aspect is how it pivoted, how it actually became a catalyst for change. As the demand for pharmaceuticals, medical devices, disinfectants just surged globally.
Right. The need was enormous.
Hazardous goods logistics providers were called into crucial action. They literally became indispensable, operating right there on the front lines. These firms played a vital, often kind of unsung, role in maintaining the global supply of essential medical products, often against incredible odds under immense pressure.
And this huge demand surge, it didn't just highlight their importance, did it? It seemed to turbocharge some of the trends we were just discussing. Like the pandemic pushed the sector even further, even faster, into adopting digital tools at a really rapid, almost unprecedented pace, enhancing visibility, compliance tracking, real-time operations right across the board.
Exactly.
It really showed the power of that technology when demand is absolutely peaking and the stakes just couldn't be higher.
Yeah, ultimately, COVID-19 became this profound stress test, and it really highlighted the critical importance of resilience, adaptability, and especially that technology integration in hazardous logistics.
Hmm.
It reinforced that this isn't just about moving goods from A to B. It's about maintaining essential services and public safety, even in the face of unforeseen global challenges. And that having the foresight, the digital infrastructure,
Yeah.
that's key to weathering those storms.
So, to sort of bring it all together, then, we've seen the hazardous goods logistics market is navigating some really dynamic shifts. It's quite a complex picture. On one hand, you've got these really promising avenues for growth, digitalization making things safer, more transparent, incredibly efficient, and alongside that, the surging complex demand for specialized biomedical waste management. But on the other hand, the sector has to constantly navigate these substantial inherent risks and the significant environmental and financial costs tied to potential incidents. It really is a market driven by necessity but shaped by constant vigilance.
Absolutely. And the COVID-19 crisis in particular, it profoundly emphasized the industry's maybe surprising resilience, while really underscoring the non-negotiable need for continuous innovation and just unwavering safety in logistics operations moving forward. It's a reminder, isn't it, that this unseen industry is far more critical and far more complex than most people probably realize.
It certainly is. It makes you think. As you, listening, consider this unseen but vital industry and all the moving parts we've talked about today, what really stands out to you? How might continued technological advancements, maybe even beyond what we've touched on with digitalization, how might they further mitigate the inherent risks in transporting hazardous goods? And maybe what role do consumers or society at large play in demanding safer, more sustainable practices in this absolutely critical sector? Something to think about.